Hi everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. This is my February TBR. So this is going to be a big one. I am currently trying to decide whether I want to try to read 28 books in 28 days again like I did last year. Honestly, I don't know if I can do it. So last year obviously we went in lockdown, so in theory this year should be easier than last year. The only thing is I've got a lot of books I want to read that are big books on my TBR, and I don't really want to reread all the graphic novels that I reread last time, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. If I do end up reading 28 books, then you'll be the first ones to know about it, but it's not something I'm going to hold myself accountable for. I might just do that challenge in a different month, maybe in June, when I can take some holiday from work and just relax and read all the time. Anyway, so on to the books. I've got quite a few different categories here of things that I want to read. First one is a buddy read, which I'm a part of. I mentioned this last month. I'm doing the Woman of the Otherworld buddy read, and we are on to book 3. That one is Dime Store Magic. This one doesn't follow Elena anymore, thank goodness. This one's actually about a witch called Paige. In this book, Paige takes on the guardianship of a girl called Savannah, and she has to kind of get to know her and also use her powers for other things. People are actually after Savannah for one reason or another, and so Paige has to spend a lot of time protecting her, and I remember really enjoying this book. I read it years ago. I've read the first 6 books in this series so far already, and I can't wait to get back into this because I love the witch storylines in this series. They're so good. And next we're going to talk about my backlist books. So if you haven't watched my January goals video or my January TBR, I guess, I'm setting myself a TBR challenge every single month because I want to reduce my physical TBR. Each month I'm going to be picking out a kind of theme to follow. So in January I chose some short books to read from my TBR. This month I'm going to be choosing books that are all the same colour. My goal is to read at least 3 books. If I read 3 and then want to read more, I can do that, but I have to pick from the set theme of the month. So for example, the theme is white covers, so I need to pick at least 3 books from that theme. If I want to read more, I can do. I have a whole shelf full of white books. Apparently I sorted them out before this video, but I can't just mood read and pick a book with a red cover. I mean, I could, but that wouldn't really be helping with the challenge. So I've picked out 5 books here that are potential reads. I only need to choose 3 of them. I'm hoping I can get to all 5, especially because one I am already in the middle of. So let me show you those. The first one is one that I mentioned I'm already in the middle of, and that is Bands of Mourning by Sanderson. This one is the 6th book in the new Mistborn era, and I'm 200 pages in. No, I'm not. I'm 130 pages in. I don't love this new era, to be honest, but I want to get to the end because I know something that happens at the end because someone spoiled it for me and they keep talking about it on Twitter. It's a whole thing. So I really want to catch up with this era at least, so then I can figure out what's going to happen in the related Stormlight archives. I also picked out the Twisted Ones, which is an adult horror book, I believe. It says here, when Mouse's dad asked her to clear out her dead grandmother's house, she said yes. After all, how bad could it be? The answer is pretty bad. Grandma was a hoarder and her house is stuffed with useless rubbish. Mouse stumbles across her step-grandfather's journal, which at first seems to be filled with nonsensical rants, until Mouse encounters some of the terrifying things he described for herself. So it sounds as though this is kind of a haunted house, haunted wood story, and I'm so excited for it. I'm really in the mood for some thriller horror at the moment, so this should hopefully be a good one to choose. And also I love this cover. I think it's really cool. The next one is a non-fiction. I've been in the mood for a bit of non-fiction lately. I think this would be a good one to kind of read throughout the month in bits and pieces, just because at the moment I'm really struggling to listen to audiobooks, so I'm gonna have to read the physical format, and I struggle with non-fiction in physical format sometimes. Anyway, that's beside the point. That book is Black Tudors by a woman called Miranda Kaufman. So I think this looks at English/British history and the role that black people played in that aren't necessarily perhaps talked about, because there's this whole kind of assumption that England was full of white people only in the Middle Ages, and that's just simply not true. So this book, I think, talks about prominent black people at the time who were already in Britain. This is all from long forgotten records emerged the remarkable stories of Africans who lived free in Tudor England. I think it should be really interesting. I'm looking forward to reading it. Next we have a book that is white, or it's supposed to be, but my copy is kind of yellowing, and that is Atonement. I don't know what this one's about. I know that James McAvoy plays the main character in the film, and I know that it's really sad. So I don't know, I think if I'm in the mood for an emotional book, I'm going to pick up this one. It's one that I've been meaning to read for absolute years. I got it from the charity shop in, I don't know when, probably 2010, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one too. And for my final white book, I'm going to choose The Blood Print by Elsa McCann. S.A. Chakraborty loved this book, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. It's an adult fantasy, but I don't really know what it's about, and to be honest, I don't really want to know. I think S.A. Chakraborty enjoying it is enough for me to want to pick it up, so this is another one of my options. At the time of recording this, I have to admit I don't know which book has won the Space Sirens book club pick, but I do know it's pretty much going to be tied or very close between two books. The first one is The Gilded Ones, which is a YA fantasy debut that's coming out, I think in February, or I hope in February, because I don't have an advanced reader's copy of it. And the other one is A Memory Called Empire. I want to read this one regardless, but I also wanted to mention Space Science Book Club just because it's a book club that I run, host and love. So this one is a space opera about a woman who's an ambassador, and she goes and wants to figure out why her predecessor has gone missing or was killed or something, and I think it's LGBT space opera, sci-fi, and I am so looking forward to reading it. It won the Hugo Awards last year, and I think it's going to be great. I have really high hopes for this one. I've been putting it off, admittedly, because it looked huge, but the font is actually also enormous, so I don't think it'll be that difficult to read. I'm really looking forward to getting to it. Oh, fun fact, I've also had this one since November of 2019 because my friend bought it for me, and I still haven't read it, so I'm glad I'm finally getting to it in February. And then there are some advanced readers copies that I got from publishers that I want to mention that I really want to get to in February because I'm so excited for them. First one is Game Changer by Neil Shuster, and this is about a boy who keeps going back and forth between different dimensions after a kick in the head, I think. And I really like parallel universe stuff. I think this sounds really interesting. I love Neil Shusterman's writing and his world building, so I've got high hopes for this one. The next one is called Dragonfly Girl. This is a debut thriller. The next one is The Initial Insults by Mindy McGuinness, who writes really dark YA contemporaries, and again, I'm looking forward to reading this one. This is the first in a duology. Reaper of Souls, which is the sequel to Kingdom of Souls, which is a YA fantasy debut, and I loved that one. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. It's about a main character who can do magic. Her mum is also able to do magic, and she kind of does so in a bad way, and then there are demons involved, and then there's a really cute love interest, and it's just a really fun, action-packed book. With a lot of darker elements as well, considering it's YA. I would recommend it. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. And then finally, the last arc that I need or want to read is We Are the Fire. This one is a fantasy debut, and it's based on the legend of Spartacus, or it's for fans of Spartacus, and I'm a massive Spartacus fan. I love ancient history, I love gladiator stories, I love slave rebellion stories, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I think it should be really, really good. And then, of course, I'm doing the Buzzword Readathon, at least my own version of the challenge, but I haven't actually looked at my shelf yet to see which books have colours in the titles. So there will be a separate video going up for that in a few weeks, probably towards the end of the month. In January, I scoured my bookshelves for books that would fit this challenge, and I only found one book that had the word dream in the title, and I'm hoping in February there will be a bigger selection to choose from, because you have to choose books that have a colour in the title, and like I said, I'll be doing a whole video on that towards the end of the month. So this is my TBR. I'm very much looking forward to reading all of these. I can't wait to get through them. I was also going to include Words of Radiance or Oathbringer in this, but I think that might be a bit ambitious of me considering what's going on in February. Even though we are in lockdown, I'm still kind of quite busy with work and things, so I don't know. I'm going to try my best to get to all of these and also to read 28 books in 28 days, but we will see. Don't hold me to that. Please don't have a go at me if I don't manage it. I'm sure you wouldn't anyway, but I kind of don't want to fail. Let me know if you've read any of these books in the comments below. Let me know if you would like full-on reviews for any of them. I would be quite happy to do that. I think I have a couple here that I do want to do a review for already, but I would also like your opinions. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll speak to you all in the next one. Bye.